Okay, where's the rest of my grab? Good Yontif.
Good Yontif.
It means a good day. Gamar Chatima Tova. A little harder. Gamar. It's actually Gamar. Chatima Tova. It means may you be sealed for good blessing, or in short, Gamar Tov. Now some people, traditionally, today is a fast day. So, by the way, if you need to eat because either medical reasons or you're in an eating program over Eaters Anonymous or something, if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, if you have other reasons you have to eat, that's good. In fact, you should just please go outside into the foyer, do it in a corner there. But we say Tzom Kal, which means may it be an easy fast, but in truth, a fast is supposed to turn you inward and get you to think or crawl the walls. And so I like to say Tzom Mashma'uti, which means may it be a meaningful fast. My name is Paul Kipnis. I'm one of the rabbis here at Congregation Or Ami with Cantor Doug Kotler. We welcome you here to Or Ami's Yom Kippur morning services, Shacharit. Rabbi Julia Weiss, our other rabbi, is leading a growing youth program here at the High Holy Days. She's really overseeing 20 or something teens who are running the programs. She may join us on service here for during various times. This would be a good time to turn off your cell phones if you haven't done so already. Just a reminder, there are doors all the way around and upstairs too. The bathrooms are behind the middle doors or on the sides over there. If you need the restrooms, go out the sides and around. If young people are staying in services, they need to stay here. The theater made it very clear to us, we're renters, we're guests, that they don't want young people hanging out in the lobby or in the foyer area. There will be times we'll ask you to stand. If standing is difficult, then God knows what's in your heart. Remain seated, but turn your heart to the Holy One. We welcome those of you worshiping with us via the live stream. We know that there are a number of people at home, in bedsides. There are people in hospitals. Our college students are all over the country, and we know a number of friends are calling in from all over. Do leave a message there, or send us a text, or a selfie with you in front of the screen. Remember, you're not watching services, but you are part of our community. You're worshiping with us. We thank you for doing that. For the Aliyah today, we're actually going to do group one coming up on stage. We'll be inviting all the young people who became bar and bat mitzvah, b'nai mitzvah, since last Rosh Hashanah, who are still congregants. And we'll be calling up any college students or grad students or those who have entered the armed forces. If any of you are here, you'll come up for that Aliyah when we do it. Sermons. So this is our fourth big service of the High Holy Days, and we've had, if I do say so myself, 4 wonderful sermons. I'm getting on to the brief part, but the serious, no, but we got that. But seriously, we have 4 sermons. On Erev Rosh Hashanah, Rabbi Julia gave a very powerful speech about the power of community. On Yom Kippur morning, I spoke about inclusion, and we had some monologues by some Jews of color who shared their experience in the Jewish community. The whole thing was very powerful. If you haven't seen that, go watch it, because I think we'll be taking down those videos soon. On Kol Nidre last night, I spoke about lessons from my father-in-law, Murray, really a message of don't wait. And today I'll be talking about this past year, particularly about the fires and the shootings. I'm speaking to adults, and we're going to talk serious and open. So if talking about the shooting or the fires is going to trigger you, you're concerned about your kids at that time, you may step out. Do so very quietly, though. But the reason I'm telling you that is if you're here for one day for Yom Kippur and the sermon you're hearing is not what you would hope to hear, there are 3 other days. Go online and listen. It's part of a series. But they will be good and inspirational, I promise you that. In case of emergency, we have doctors on call. Talk to any usher on the sides. In case of emergency where we have to evacuate, go out the doors and the ushers will tell you where to go, what to do. Welcome to all of you worshiping on the mezzanine. You are like the angels on high. We are thrilled you are with us and worshiping with us. Now again, yesterday, after I said, turn off your cell phones, please, and double check them, a cell phone went off. On Rosh Hashanah, 2 went off. Please take out your cell phones right now on the holiest day of the year. Don't talk. Take out your cell phones, please, and make sure they're off. If you're sitting next to someone who might not know how to do it, or a parent, please get their cell phone now and check, okay? I appreciate that. Page 108. The day has come to take an accounting of our lives together. Have I dreamed of late of the person I want to be, of the changes I would make in my daily habits, in the way I am with others, in the friendships I show my friends? We have remained chained too often to less than what we could be, but the day has come to take an accounting of our lives. We turn to page 111 and rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam
We are grateful each morning for the rest that has come after yesterday's tasks were done. We're grateful each morning. Page 112. We are grateful each morning a new friendship, new tasks undertaken, new fruits planted, efforts brought to fruition, a bountiful harvest reaped.
We are grateful for the creative and nurturing capacities we have been granted, for the compassion to sense those in fear, in hunger, and in pain, for the opportunity to share some of our bounty with those less fortunate. We are grateful each morning for the light of a new day.
Let's take a moment to bring our mind and heart and soul in alignment. I'm going to invite you, if you're comfortable to do so, to close your prayer book. If your body allows you to do so, let me have you sit with your back against the seat and your feet down on the ground. If your body allows it, imagine a string going from your sit bones all the way up to your head, and it's pulling you up, connecting your feet on the ground and your mind and heart up in the heavens. And if you're able to, close your eyes and take in a breath and let it out. And take in a breath and let it out. And keep breathing. Kaveh el Adonai chazak ve'ya'amatz libecha ve'kaveh el Adonai. Wait for Adonai. Fill your hope with the Holy One. Let your heart be strong and of good courage. But wait hopefully. To wait, to hope. Wait, hope more. We wait and wait, always waiting. We hope, sometimes always hoping. Waiting takes time. It's how hope works. Waiting can be filled with something, with praying or singing or listening or noticing or hoping. Hoping can be filled with something useful, healing, fulfilling, soul-filling. What are you waiting for? What are you hoping for? We live in this world, but so often we are disengaged. Imagine yourself standing not alone in your house or alone in your car. Imagine you are with a comfortable sized group of people. How can you engage in God's work and in God's world rather than retreat from it? Imagine yourself now doing the holy work that you should be doing, that you could be doing, that perhaps you were meant to be doing. Imagine you have a very special telescope. You can look all around and see reality. You can see the hate. You can see the anger. But you can see the love. Focus it on someone who is hurting, someone in pain. Ask yourself, what could I be doing to help assuage, to help bring some measure of comfort and love, maybe even healing, to that one in pain? Adjust the focus. Look now to someone who you have hurt or harmed. Don't go for the easy ones. Go for the uncomfortable ones. See their face. Imagine you can see the brokenness in their heart. The philosopher Emmanuel Levinas said that if we can see the other, we bear responsible for him or her or them. What can I do, ask, to begin the process of healing the pain that I have helped to cause? And breathe in. And breathe out. But don't stop looking. Now lift up that telescope and look far off in the distance behind you. Look back through time. Look at the person you once were. Remember that person's hopes and dreams. Perhaps the goodness of that person, perhaps the rambunctiousness or the challenges. Remember the dreams. And now step back from that telescope and look in the mirror that has appeared at your side. Look at who you are or who you have become. Look at those successes, those amazing things you have done and created and partnered with. And notice the places that you didn't quite live up to what you could be, who you could be. Grab hold of that distance between who you were and who you are. And imagine what you can do to get one step, 2 steps closer to who you could be, who you should be. That work, all this work is the work of teshuvah, returning to the path of goodness and kindness and healing and responsibility and love. Today we will hear beautiful songs, we will listen to powerful messages, we will read prayers that stir our soul. But the real work is the work we are doing right now, or beginning. And it doesn't end when we walk out of these doors, and it shouldn't end when we eat that food at the break the fast. This is the work of today of next week and next year. To see and feel and hear the brokenness in our world, in others, in ourselves, and to begin the work of healing. And when we do, we're not alone. Open your heart and you'll feel the love around you. Open your eyes when you are ready and see the people around you ready to help. And open your ears and listen, and you will hear the voice, the Kol D'Mamad Daka, that still small voice saying, God is with you. You are never alone. When you're ready, open your eyes. We're on page 113.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say,
Turning to page 116, we will read responsively. On this Day of Atonement, we will not seek to escape responsibility for our own selves. We will not fault parents, siblings, or childhood traumas for the weakness we display, nor will we blame society, the economy, or our institutions for their failure to make us perfect. Judaism teaches us that we're free, but not free to do anything we want, for we have obligations to others, nor free to be anyone we wish, for we are influenced by others. We are free to choose 12 times a day how we shall react to life's challenges, and in this small way to mold ourselves to become better than we are. On this Day of Atonement, we need to accept responsibility for our own selves. We cannot be perfect, continuously happy and successful, always attractive, popular, and healthy. We seek only to be better, to be a little kinder, braver, and more patient. We seek to do a few more mitzvot, to share a few more simchas, to be at one with ourselves, our values and our dreams, as well as being at one with our people, our tradition, and our God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, עזרת שרה. שמע קולנו
We read responsively.
Page 120.
On Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed.
Who shall be pierced by envy, and who shall be torn by resentment? Who shall be tormented by the fire of ambition, and whose hope shall be quenched by the waters of failure? Who shall hunger for approval? Who shall be stuffed with selfishness?
Who shall be content with their lot, and who shall wander in search of satisfaction?
Who shall be poor in their own eyes, and who shall be rich in mitzvot? Who shall be serene, and who shall be distraught?
Who shall stand out as a
Jew, and who shall fade away,
forgetting who they are? Who shall study Torah for its own sake, and who shall worry about grades and exams?
Who shall be open-minded, and who shall be tight-fisted? Whose life shall be intertwined with others, and who shall be independent and alone?
Who shall be truly alive, and
who shall merely exist?
But Yom Kippur has not ended. The doors are not yet closed.
We can yet shout the future, for we are a people that does not breathe us. We can annul the decrees. We can reopen the future. We can reclaim our lives. We can change the future by changing ourselves.
Rosh Hashanah yekatevum, u'v'yom Tzom Kippur yechatemu. On Rosh Hashanah it is written, and on Yom Kippur it is sealed. U'tshuva u'tfila u'tzedakah ma'avirin et ro'ah ha'gazera. But teshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah make it easier to face the world, make it easier to confront what life holds in store, and make it easier to face ourselves. Teshuva, repentance. Together.
To look within ourselves, to change what can be changed, to repair what can be repaired, to reconcile what can be reconciled, to let go.
Tefillah, prayer.
Developing our awareness of the source of all life, by knowing the blessings of life, sharing those blessings with each other, asking for forgiveness, proclaiming our aspirations for wholeness, singing when it's right to sing, crying when we need to cry, and reflecting regularly.
Tzedakah, righteous giving.
Doing acts of justice and loving kindness toward others and all of life on this planet.
Many are the ways of holiness, varied are its paths. There is holiness when nations meet to beat swords into plowshares.
And when people with different backgrounds work together for a common future.
There is holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness.
And when people lift up their fallen and free the captives.
There is holiness when we bring consolation to the sorrowing and comfort to the silent sufferers.
And when we promote family harmony.
There is holiness when we respect what divides us. Wait.
Yep. Yes.
There is holiness when we respect what divides us and emphasize what unites us. Together. There is holiness when we share a relationship of love with a partner. There is holiness when we gather to pray to the one who gave us the power to pray.
Holy, holy, holy is the highest power. All life can be filled with God's glory.
Page 126. There's a moment in the traditional service in an Orthodox shul maybe when the Kohanim, a priestly class that had merit back when we were sacrificing animals. Today, it's a whole different thing. But they would come up, and only the men, because back then they thought that that's what God intended. They were wrong. And they took the talitot and put it over their heads and put their hands in the shin sign, and they did dochanun, the Birkat Kohanim. At Or Ami, there's no class based on inheritance. It's on ma'asim, on deeds, and Torah, on wisdom. So we bless each other. So take a moment, if you're comfortable, put your arms around the people next to you. Let's create you don't need your prayer books for this. Let's create a moment of holiness. And for those of you out in the live stream, if you have loved ones there, hold them close. If not, know that I am holding you in my heart with my own family spread out around the country. And repeat these words of blessing to each other. Don't look at me. I already feel blessed by your presence. Look at each other. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God be with you wherever you are. And may God grant you and me and the whole world and the whole congregation and the universe, which is bigger than the world, with the most precious of blessings, the blessing of shalom. And now, if you're comfortable, give a kiss and sit down. Give Jews an opportunity to kiss each other, and they're talking about dinner, making plans for where they're going tomorrow, checking out who is a better break the fast. I'll skip that one, I'll go to this one. Okay, now sit on down, please. This is the part where we're going to talk about this last year, about some shootings and the fires, and so if that will trigger you, it's okay now to leave. When I was in college, during the study week before finals, you would find me in one of two places. Either in the computer room writing my papers, we didn't have personal PCs back then, or in the game room, dropping quarters into the video game machines. There were three friends who really got me through finals: Ms. Pac-Man, Spy Hunter, and Centipede. Only in the game room could I momentarily push aside the pressures that life was giving me. And even though I was good at racking up extended play, whenever the games ended, those papers still needed to be written. And as much as I wanted to, I couldn't duck the reality I had to face. Well, these past few weeks, as I face sermon writing, the rabbinic version of college finals, I tried again to get lost in my iPhone games, battling virus wars, engaging in space battles instead of doing what I should have been doing, editing my sermons. However, don't worry, Michelle edited them, got rid of it, cut them down. Okay. However, the games might have captured my attention, but when it was over, I still had to deal with those approaching sermon deadlines. It reminded me of that time I was walking by a group of teens who were playing one of those first-person shooter games, which allow players to experience the action through the eyes of the protagonist. They see their hands in front of them, aiming and shooting the gun, holding off the enemies, or sometimes just running rampant through the crowds. Now, these aren't my kind of games, because that violence is not my cup of tea. But it got me to thinking. I realized that these first-person things, they're really, not the violence part, but they're kind of really Jewish. I mean, think about it. There's a whole body of Jewish literature called Midrash. It's rabbinic interpretation. What is Midrash? If not a rabbinic attempt to get into the mind of our biblical ancestors, to see the world through their eyes, to try to understand what way back when they were thinking and feeling. In fact, all of you participate in one of those. The Passover Seder is a first-person Midrash experience. It says, B'chol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo, ke'ilu hu yatsa miMitzrayim. In each and every generation, every person must see themselves as if they went forth from Egypt. In other words, see the world through the eyes of another, and your mind and heart will soften. Much has been written about the exodus from Egypt through Moses and Miriam's eyes. I wonder, however, with the Torah's focus on the vulnerable, what would it be like to see through the eyes of the forgotten people in Torah? Like the people left behind when Noah's ark took off as the world was being flooded, or the Israelite slaves being whipped by their taskmasters. I just got an idea. Jewish first-person video games. We totally have to make those. Who's in? Any investors? Let's go, we'll make it. But so, anyways, I'm shifting back. That was such a good one in my head, but it didn't work on the paper. Then I shifted back to the first-person shooter games. What would it be like playing those games if we similarly switch perspective? Imagine that instead of being the first-person shooter, we became the ones being shot at, the ones whose world was being destroyed. But I didn't have to imagine too much, because I've already seen this play out. Only it wasn't a game. Last November, I woke in the middle of the night, as I often do, and I picked up my smartphone, as I often foolishly do. And on Facebook there, I saw that there had been a shooting at the Borderline Country Western Dance Bar in Thousand Oaks. I immediately knew that our congregant, Ben Ginsberg, an avid country music line dancer, must have been there. Scrolling through, I discovered that Ben had been there. He dodged the bullets and had narrowly escaped. Ben lived, while 13 innocent people did not. And in the days that followed, Ben told us in great detail what happened. It was as if instead of playing a first-person shooter, I was seeing the shooting through the eyes of someone being shot at. Except it wasn't a game. It involved a kid, my kid. I bar mitzvahed Ben. I confirmed him at the temple. And as it turns out, following the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting the previous week or so, I sat with him to reassure him that, and I quote, "The chances are so slim that you will ever find yourself facing such a shooting." But the Borderline shooting happened days later, and he was there. That could have been any of our kids. And to think that one of ours came so close to dying because of some rage-filled maniac went on a murder spree, See through the eyes of another, and your mind and heart will soften. It made me wonder how Jewish tradition spoke about this. I remembered Exodus chapter 22, verse 8. When you build a new house, you shall make a parapet, a low protective fence for your roof, so that you do not bring blood guilt upon your house should anyone fall from it. It's like this. Back in those days, they had many flat roof houses, and people would go up, friends and family, and hang out. Maybe they'd barbecue, and when it was hot, they'd sleep out there at night. So Torah elucidated a simple principle. We should anticipate the danger and build a railing so no one falls and gets hurt, or worse, dies. Torah is teaching us that we are obligated as Jews and as human beings to act precipitously and proactively against the dangers we know about or can readily and reasonably imagine. I wanted to delve more into that, but unfortunately I didn't have time because less than 16 hours later, a new threat emerged. I watched on first-person videos as the flames of destruction raced through the neighborhoods of our synagogue and surrounding, forcing nearly 80% of our congregants into mandatory evacuation. As the fires claimed acre after acre, volunteers from Orami and my colleagues from around the country called our Orami congregants some 4 times to check in on how people were doing, to offer rooms and places to go, and as Rabbi Julia talked about last Rosh Hashanah, to announce our kids camp and adult hangout at D. Toledo High School. Through the eyes of many of you here, in fact, I gained a first-person perspective on the flight from the fires, hearing about your fears, your exhaustion, and your worries. Now, some people pass time in hotels, others with grandparents and other relatives. But too many watch the fires approach their homes, raging through the underbrush, racing up hills until, fleeing just ahead of the flames, they learned from people who stayed behind or via the news what the fires did to their home. Unlike the burning bush that burned and miraculously was not consumed, their homes burned and were consumed. Unlike God's voice that called out to Moses, God's voice did not call out to them. They only heard the sounds of roofs and walls and precious keepsakes burning into dust and ashes. See through the eyes of another, and your heart and mind will soften. I needed God's voice, so I turned again to Torah. And in chapter 21, I heard God whispering to me, to us, quote, "When a person opens a pit, or when a person digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey fall into it, the owner of the pit shall make restitution." It's like this. If you open up a pit on your land, or there is one, you got to cover it. If there are dangers created either by our actions or our inactions, they should not be allowed to fester. We have a duty to confront these dangers. Torah teaches that if someone gets hurt or property gets damaged because we don't deal with it, we are liable. Our neighborhood shootings and these wildfires are occurring with a frequency and intensity that we haven't seen in generations. These are the symptoms of a world crying out to us to pay attention and take action. And as much as we might want to throw coins into the video game or flee to whatever is our preferred diversion, it's always the same. From this reality, there is no escape. When we return, the danger persists. How many of you took note, really thought about the metal detectors at the theater doors this morning? The Kavli Theater decided that to keep their patrons somewhat safer, They needed metal detectors. Similarly, synagogues around the nation are devoting an increasing share of their budgets to security. And yet I'm not sure any of this will really make us any safer than before, alone. How many of you noticed that our homeowners insurance is going up, even if you didn't live directly in the fire area or heard that it will, or that the insurance coverage for smoke damage is most likely to be capped at a very low figure? The insurance industry, a business of statistics and algorithms, has determined that major rate hikes will be necessary to offset the payouts that their business models project they will need to make in the future to those of us in wildfire areas and to others in the flood zones down by the Gulf states and in the hurricane areas in the southeast and up the coast. Because their algorithms show that these patterns will continue. A few years ago, Moody's, that's an international company that determines bond ratings, how much cities and states the rate they can borrow money. They sent warning letters to cities and states explaining that because of increased wildfires and flooding and hurricanes, those cities and states had to quickly develop responsible plans to address the dangers posed by climate, or their bond rating would be lowered. No matter what we may believe or not about climate issues, the financial risk market has determined that these changes now and in the future are real and pervasive. So it's like Moody's said to cities and states, you gotta deal with this, and if you don't, you're gonna pay. That is a modern extension of Torah's admonition that we must address the dangers of the uncovered pit and the unfenced roof. The lessons of Mount Sinai are calling out to us today. I looked in Deuteronomy and happened upon these verses, V'haya'im Shemoah. It's become a prayer, it's long been a prayer in the traditional prayer book, which said that if we don't follow God's Torah, then the rains will cease to fall and the produce of our fields will decrease dramatically. Now, the early Reform rabbis were very uncomfortable with this theology that suggested that rainfall would be affected and produce would be minimized by whether or not we kept kosher or followed Shabbat. In fact, they pulled that from the prayer book 100 years ago. But today, as we face severe storms that batter us and fierce flooding that devastates, diabolical fires raging uncontrollably, and mass shootings week after week, perhaps we might turn to Deuteronomy again to re-examine the connection between our actions and our world. And it's not about kashrut, and it's not about Shabbat. Rabbi Richard Levy, my teacher, may his memory be for a blessing, the Reform movement's preeminent liturgist, reinterpreted that traditional prayer with this new connection in mind. It's in our prayer book back at the synagogue on Shabbat. I'd like you to pray it with me. It's up on the screen. Together. If you hear the words from Sinai, then love will flow from us, and we shall serve all that is holy with all our intellect and passion and all our life. If we can serve all that is holy, and there will be enough. But if we turn from Sinai's words and serve only what is common and profane, making gods of our own comfort or power, then the holiness of life will contract for us. Our world will grow inhospitable. Let us therefore lace these words into our passion and our intellect and bind them as a sign upon our hands and eyes. Let us write them in the doorposts upon our house and teach them to our children. Let us honor the generations that came before us, keeping the promise. Friends, the world is crying out to us Our children are crying out to us, and it's time for our minds and hearts, softened by this past year's experiences, to lead us to act. You remember the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh, the one that was shot up last November? I just learned that it happened 1 year ago, but they are still shuttered and closed. They can't move on, and neither should we. The burden we have placed on the next generation's shoulders is overwhelming them. Our own 12th grader, Allison Pine, told her rabbis and then told her congressperson last winter, "I was 8 years old when I endured my first lockdown drill, hearing the announcement that an active shooter was intruding on my school. I remember running to the rainbow carpet to protect myself from a made-up scenario. I remember feeling my heart racing at the thought of a stranger murdering my peers and me. Years have passed," she writes, "but I remain the same. The thought of being violated with bullets still haunts my mind. I look out my classroom window every time someone walks by, feeling that the next time someone will kill me and my peers." In response to the kids and the adults who are getting shot at in dance bars and in school classrooms, at concerts and in malls, in mosques, in churches, in synagogues, a startling 85% of you nationally say there's a simple first step. We should require a background check for gun purchase and gun ownerships. Others point to addressing mental health issues, removing weapons from people with mental illness, limiting access to specific weapons, closing gun show loopholes, or more vigorously enforcing the laws we already have on the books. It seems to me that each of these ideas is part of the solution. So, heeding Torah, I invite you to pick one or two and get out there and advocate. Don't sit back. Get out. Do something. Make it happen. Do it now. Did you know that it recently flooded again in Houston? They went through so much, and now again. And the hurricanes up the East Coast keep intensifying. Did you know that in these past 5 years, because of nearby wildfires, we have evacuated the Torah scrolls from Or Ami 4 times? And that major corporations worldwide are moving toward reality-based business models, factoring in these changes that are increasingly affecting their ability to do business. Or that our young people are pleading with us adults to take seriously our responsibility as guardians of their future. They want all adults, whatever we believe about the origins of these extremes in climate, to take action. These kids are living through devastating wildfires and floods and hurricanes, seeing the destruction with their own eyes, and they are frightened for their future. They are demanding that we get real. So, heeding God's call, let's cover up that pit. Make your next car a hybrid or an electric model. Move towards solar energy. Reduce your red meat consumption. Go beyond those plastic straws to reduce your dependence on all single-use plastics. Choose something that resonates you, or a couple of things or more, but take some serious actions. Let's do it now. My friends, we are digging ourselves into a pit, and the Midrash has something to say. The Midrash teaches that when God created Adam and Eve, God led them through the Garden of Eden, and God said to them, "See how beautiful and praiseworthy are all my works? Everything I've created for your sake. But remember this, don't ruin my world, for if you do, there will be no one to fix it after you." When we see the world through the eyes of another, our minds and hearts must soften. Friends, this has been a very difficult year. Tree of Life synagogue shooting, borderline bar shooting, raging fires in all our neighborhoods, the shooting at the Poway synagogue down south, just to name a few. And now it's Yom Kippur, a time for self-reflection. Yom Kippur asks, have we done enough to make the world safer for us and our children? Yom Kippur is calling out to us, asking if we have addressed the problem of the unfenced roof and the uncovered pit. Friends, we've got work to do. Let's get started. So let's hold in our hearts all those who faced the fires, narrowly escaping. Those who faced the fires and lost their homes. Let's bring into our hearts those who lived through that shooting, those shootings and others, and those who lost loved ones. But there's more. There is a prayer, Birkat HaGomel, which we recite when we or someone we love has survived an accident or had an operation or has given birth once and sometimes still. It's a very harrowing process. It's a prayer we say each day when those dealing with health challenges still get up to face the day each day. It's a prayer of thanks to God for surviving, for allowing us to try to thrive. In this past year, it's a prayer for our own loved ones in those areas, and it's a prayer for us. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hagomel chayavim tovot shegimalani kol tov. Blessed are you, Adonai, blessed are you, Adonai. I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful. Amen, amen. Mishegamalcha kol tov, hu yigamalcha kol tov. I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful.
Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Now let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around, you will be found. 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 There's a place where we don't have to feel unknown. And every time that you call out, you're a little less alone. And if you only say the words from across the silence, your voice is heard. Oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around, you will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
What a beautiful rendition of You Will Be Found from the Broadway musical Evan Hansen, sung by the congregant Abby Adele. You're probably wondering why we included a song about teenage angst in the middle of the Yom Kippur services. I will explain in a bit. My name is Steve Greenberg. I'm a congregant. You may remember me last year from doing the Abraham monologue over here, or you may have come to one of the Purim shows in the last 4 years that Doug and I put together, Cantor Doug and I put together, or maybe you remember me from about 3 minutes ago when I was in the bass section. I know there's a line of people right here that are familiar with my tonsils. Gotcha. My wife is Diane Gubin. She's on the board. She's that tall, blonde, brilliant woman with the megawatt smile. She runs the Orme Business Roundtable, and she does the meet and greet too. She organizes that so that you are greeted warmly when you walk into the synagogue through the doors. We have 3 kids, Joshua, Samantha, and Raquel, 2 Great Danes, and I think there are a couple of cats still living in our house in Calabasas. We joined Orme in August of 2011. We were fighting our way back from a terrible time in the recession. I had some back problems. And our daughter Raquel needed a place for her bat mitzvah. So you know how it is, we were shul shopping. I'll never forget the first night we went to Orami. Cantor Doug and Cheryl Bronstein were singing beautifully. Daryl Lieberstein was playing bass, rhythmically. And Rabbi Paul was being charismatic and funny. Now, I grew up in a conservative synagogue in New Jersey, and as Morris Greenberg, my Yiddish grandfather, would say, this we didn't have. The whole feeling was so Hamish and friendly and wonderful that Diane and I just looked at each other right then and there and we went, we're joining this one. This is it. We're joining it. What we didn't realize at the time was that we would need it for so much more than a bat mitzvah. This is one of the reasons in what I said about teenage angst before. You see, Rocky, at age 12 was getting bullied and cyberbullied at school. At the same time, she was suffering from a hereditary anxiety disorder as well. It was going not well, and then another shoe dropped. She was in the back seat of her best friend's mom's car, and they got rear-ended 3 times by the same car. Pow, pow, pow. For the next 2.5 years, Rocky experienced severe headaches and horrible pain and neck spasms in her neck. These things were so bad they would make her cry and scream. Her depression and anxiety worsened, and we were scared. We were terrified. Every week I would take her to see more and more doctors, some weeks 4 or 5, neurologists, pain specialists, orthopedic surgeons, psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists. And Diane took her to a bunch of pain doctors in Beverly Hills, where we could also do some retail therapy as well. We even changed insurance companies so we could start the whole thing over with a whole new list of doctors because nothing worked. The pain was still there. She was getting worse, and we were getting more stressed out and like I said, just freaking scared. She couldn't go to school, and we were trying to homeschool her, and I'm not the best choice for homeschooling. All I do is show films and film strips, you know. Anybody remember film strips? She wanted out of Calabasas. She decided she wanted to go to boarding school in New Zealand. Then Diane had an idea. She said, we can't send you all the way to New Zealand, but why don't we what about Israel? So we did our research, we made some phone calls, we made some decisions, and then we did something smart. We talked to our rabbis. Rabbi Paul jumped in. He pointed Rocky towards the nifty EIE program now known as the URJ Heller High School. And he shepherded us all the way through getting Rocky there. We were up front with the school about her challenges, and they were totally open and prepared. So Rocky went to Israel for the spring of her sophomore year of high school. It was a great program. She walked the country. She learned Hebrew. She visited Jerusalem often. They even went to Poland on a program to see the concentration camps. And Rabbi Paul and Cantor Doug, while they were in Israel, looked in on Rocky for us. They brought pizzas to the kibbutz outside Jerusalem for Rocky and all her classmates. All because in the midst of the dark times, and they were pretty dark. I know some people have it worse, but when your kid's looking at you in that car and you know she's we turn to our temple and our community for support and suggestions. And when Rocky came back over the summer, my little one, and she doesn't want me to call her that anymore, she was like a Sabra, a tough native Israeli, tough on the outside and so sweet on the inside. It worked. Headaches? A little. I'm too busy for them, Dad. Bullies at school, they don't mean anything. They're irrelevant. Depression and anxiety, the right medical care, and plenty of new friends at Orami. Rocky joined LOMTI, Orami's youth group, and was elected treasurer and became part of the LOMTI leadership team. She became so close with Rabbi Julia, wherever you are, thank you so much. She texted and called her almost every day. She made new friends at LOMTI, and all of her new friends were, well, they were athletes and scholars and leaders. And our Rocky was becoming a mensch. Today, if I may brag about my kid, and I'm gonna, Rocky is a junior at University of Southern California, USC. Fight on, fight on! Don't worry, Josh went to UCLA, it's cool. She's in the Annenberg School. She's on the dean's list. And her on-campus job is in public relations in the law school. Yeah. When she gets anxious, she calls her mom now. And I think we have to be on guard, but I think she's going to be okay. Congregation Orami, the community, the education and youth programs, our great rabbis, our great cantor. Orami is a mensch factory, right? Making us all kinder, more compassionate, more caring for people of all ages. I'm not a mensch yet, but I'm working on it. My family loves Orami. Why do you think Diane and I are always smiling? I know it's a little annoying sometimes. What the heck are those Greenbergs smiling at now? If you think we owe a debt to Rabbi Paul, Cantor Doug, Rabbi Julia, Diane Townsend, and the Orami community, my chorale brothers and sisters, you'd be right. So singing in the chorale, reading beatnik poetry on Shabbat, directing the Orami Purim players, we'll call them, you know who you are, moving furniture, volunteering on mitzvah day, or feeding the homeless, maybe some light plumbing. Also a bad idea with me. Okay. I mean, I wore a beret and a turtleneck sweater for Shabbat in August, right? So you know there's no limit to my contributions. And there shouldn't be, I'm joking. Because Orami is a very special place and has embraced me and Diane and our family, and we love it. I think you love it too. For us adults, it provides a safe place to turn when times are difficult and a sweet place in which to celebrate and count our blessings, and we all have them, and eat amazing cookies. This amazing shul guides us to do Jewish in a joyful way, passing it down l'dor v'dor from generation to generation. It looks something like this.
L'dor v'dor nag l'dor v'dor nagid godlecha im kedusha chana yamush le'olam va'ed v'shivchecha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed קדוש אתה לדור ודור נגיד גודלך לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושת חנק די
Passing Jewish down from generation to generation, that's what Orami does. Our temple team has just transformed the youth program into the hub and is already transforming lives, saving lives, literally, like they helped save my little one, Rocky. They pulled together the best staff, Rabbi Julia Weiss, Andrew Fromer, a whole host of interns and teachers, and then, listening intensely to the teens and the younger ones, they craft experiences that educate, inspire, bring hope, and healing. All informed by Torah values and all in a Jewish context. So I'm inviting you to help. This incredible hub program is for our youth is happening because it's a great idea. But this morning we need to raise tzedakah to sustain it through the year. Some of you have already pre-pledged your donations to our rabbis. If you've already donated, we thank you. We truly thank you. This morning, we need to raise additional tzedakah to sustain this youth program, especially, and others throughout the year. If you have already given, thank you. If you haven't had the opportunity yet to pledge to this year's High Holy Day Appeal, please consider what you can do. Please stretch yourself. We're hoping that every household, every family will pledge because Orami, the rabbis, the cantor, they will be there for you nonetheless. Consider this. Some will make a meaningful gift of $180, $250, or $500. Some $36, double chai. We've done that a few times. $100. Some can donate $1,000, $1,800, or $5,000. A few can donate $10,000. All gifts are appreciated. All are meaningful and will go far to help Orami's holy work. This year, if your business or your employer provides matching gifts, we can now accept them. Just check off the matching gift on your envelope, and the temple will be in touch. Big envelopes are under every 8 to 10 seats. Take the small envelope from inside, then pass the big envelope to your left. All the way to the end of the row, ushers will be around to collect your envelopes. I got to get back with my chorale peeps now. May your new year be filled with love, health, joy, sweetness, and many blessings. Shana Tova.
Page 128. I ask you to please rise. In a moment, we will begin the Al-Chet section. Al-Chet is for the sin, Shechatanu Lefanecha, that we have sinned before you. Some of us can hold on to the idea of sin. For some, it's off-putting. Think of it as the place where you've missed the mark. Think of it as the place where you could have been this way and you went that way instead. We say Shechatanu, that we have sinned, because there's a recognition that while each person didn't do every one, collectively we have, and we each have some responsibility in each of these areas. We'll read the Hebrew and the English, and you may read either or both. We read, Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have sinned before you. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha, sinned openly or in secret. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have sinned knowingly and deceitfully. Ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have sinned. Ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have sinned by disrespect for parents and teachers. Ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha, and for the sin we have sinned by failing to welcome converts. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have sinned by. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have sinned under. Ve'al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha. People, our beliefs. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha. Al-Chet shechatanu lefanecha. Ve'al kulam eloah slichot. Slach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu. For all these sins, O God of compassion, forgive us, pardon us, restore us. In these ways we diminish ourselves and harm others. Through In these ways, we diminish ourselves and harm others by pretending emotions we do not feel, to excuse our own, by denying our responsibility for our own misfortunes, by refusing to admit our share in the truth. In these ways, we diminish ourselves and harm others by condemning in our children the faults we tolerate in ourselves, by condemning in our parents the faults we tolerate in ourselves, by remembering the price of things and forgetting their value, by sacrificing the truth by desiring to be served rather than serving others, by feeling Jewish. In these ways, we diminish ourselves and harm others by lying to gain advantage, by using people as stepping stones to our own needs, by manipulating those we claim to love. In these ways, we diminish ourselves and harm others, by treating with ignorance those who are vulnerable, by seeking out those we can feel superior to, by diluting our Jewish heritage so that it cannot be passed down, by erecting borders and finding them satisfying, by remaining silent in the face of evil. Ve'al kulam eloah slichot, slach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu. For all these sins, O God of compassion. Page 136. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu, page 136. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu, together. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our plea. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Va'alo Aleinu V'tapenu. Avinu Malkeinu, have mercy. Avinu Malkeinu Kalei Dever V'cherev V'ra'av Me'aleinu. Pestilence, war, and Avinu Malkeinu Kalei Kol Tsar U'Mastein Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, inspire us, so all hate and oppression to vanish from the earth. Avinu Malkeinu Kotvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, enter us into the book of life. Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, renew our faith in the future, that we may make the coming year truly a Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Va'anenu Kienu Banu Ma'asim Asei Manu Tzedakah V'Chesed Ve'oshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, though we may be unworthy, do not give up on us. Inspire and encourage us, for we are both just and loving.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Kienu Vanu
In a moment, we will take out the Torah, and we're actually going to unroll it completely here on, or partially out here on the bima. As we take the Torah from the ark, maybe you'll notice that there's a breastplate, or the piece of a silver breastplate on the Torah scroll. Back at the beginning of the Shoah, the Holocaust, in a town called Meppen in Germany, a man named Ernest Cohen, father of our founding congregant Olivia Cohen Cutler, who's here with her family. He was a member of that congregation, and after Kristallnacht, when they burned down the synagogue and the Jews were forced to clean it up, he took that breastplate, he found it in the ashes. Knowing that his life would be on the line, he put it in his pants, put his shirt over it, and kept working. He smuggled it out here, brought it to the States, where it's been on Torahs all over the country. And for many years, and today, it is on our own Torah. We remember them as we read Torah. In a moment, first we're going to invite up not yet those who are going to hold Torah, and then we'll invite up their families, the families of those who are reading. And then for this Aliyah, we're going to invite up all the young people who became B'nai Mitzvah since last Rosh Hashanah, who are still part of Orami, and any college students and anyone else, any people who are in the arms, young people in the armed services of any sort. I'd like to invite up those who are holding Torah and invite our chorale to join.
Ki metzion tetze Torah, Ki metzion tetze Divrei Torah u'devar Adonai Mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael Bekidushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kahadosh Shemo Torah li, 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 Torah, Torah sheli. Torah li, 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 Torah, Torah sheli. Lai, 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 Torah, Torah sheli. Lai, 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 Torah, Torah sheli. Torah, Torah, Torah li, 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 Torah, Torah sheli. Torah li, Torah, Torah li, 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 Torah, Torah sheli.
We invite up the family, those who know coming up, and any of our young people who became bar and bat mitzvah during this past year. Come join us on the Bima now. Come on up. Any of our college students, come on up to the Bima. Anyone serving in the armed forces, come up to the Bima.
Torah, Torah sheli.
So we're going to be standing for a while. You have rabbinic dispensation to sit if you would like. It's okay to show the Torah. We have to hold it. We're going to do 17 aliyot.
Oh, God.
Okay, not really. We're just doing 3. So if you need to sit, it's okay. If you want to stand, that's okay. 2. Orange. Chanting the first aliyah. Well, our readers for this Torah reading are Madeline Menente, Jack Lieberman, and our adult bat mitzvah a couple of years ago, Tali Sands. We joined together, those up here on the bima, the words are on page 139 or up on the screen. 1, 2, 3. Baruch hu Adonai Haborah. Baruch Adonai Haborah. Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Vaed. Amen.
Amen. Atem nitzavim hayom kulhem lifnei Adonai Elohechem Rashehem Shivtechem Ziknehem V'shotrechem Kol Ish Yisrael Tapchem Neshechem V'gercha Asher Bekerev Machanecha Mehotei Beitzecha Ad Shoev Meimecha Leovrecha Bivrit Adonai Elohecha Uv Alato Asher Adonai Elohecha Koret Imcha Hayam.
Amen. Leman hakim otcha hayom lo le'am v'hu yihye lecha le'elohim ka'asher diber lach v'ka'asher nishba la'avotecha le'avraham le'yitzchak u'Yaakov v'lo Itchem levadechem anochi koret et habrit hazot ve'et ha'ala hazot ki et asher yeshno po imanu omed hayom lifnei Adonai Eloheinu Ve'et asher einanu po imanu hayom.
Amen. Ki hamitzvah hazot Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Lo Nifleit Hi Mimcha Velo Rechoka Hi Lo Vashamayim Hi Lemor Mi Ya'alelanu Hashamayma Ve'yikacheha lanu Ve'yashmienu Ota v'na'asena v'lo me'ever layam hi lemor mi ya'avor lanu el ever hayam ve'yikacheha lanu ve'yashmi'enu ota v'na'asena ki karov elecha hadavar me'od Beficha uvilvavecha la'asoto.
Let's stay on this slide for a second. Just to look, I've got this. Surely this instruction which I enjoin upon you this day is not too baffling for you, nor is it beyond reach. What God is asking for us today, to look into our lives, to figure out who we are and who we should be, to figure out who we've harmed and figure out how to make it right, to figure out how we've left others hanging and need to do our part the way we failed ourselves. What does it say? This instruction which I enjoin upon you today is not too baffling, nor is it beyond reach. It's not up in the heavens that you should go. Who among us can go up to the heavens and get it for us and impart it to us? Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who among us can cross to the other side of the sea and get it for us? No, this thing is very close to you. It's in your mouth, the words we say, and in your heart, the way we lead, not with hate, but with overflowing, unconditioned love. Then not only can we observe it, but la'asoto, we can do it. We stand here today for 3 reasons. One is because each of us wants to be the best we can be. 2 is because each of these people had Diane Townsend to teach them to read Torah, and all these young people too, to learn how to take the words that seem all but Greek when you first look at them, and then they come to life, and then they have meaning. And that happens because of Diane. And we stand here today because we as a community know that we're never in this alone. We have each other, we support each other, we hold up each other. In the good times, in the hard times, in the painful journeys, in the necessary journeys, in the times of love and in the times of pain. In a minute, we're going to say a blessing, a mishaberach, a prayer for healing. But before we do, let's switch the slide and say the closing blessing. Baruch atah. And now, thank you to all of our readers and all of our young people. I'm going to have you walk just this way, and may you be blessed in your coming up here. May you be blessed in your going. May you be blessed in your joys. May you be blessed in the struggles. May you be blessed in the goodness. May good and blessing come to you all. Amen. We're going to roll the Torah. Those who are holding it, in a little bit, I'm going to have you sort of turn it face up. And then Kevin is going to roll it all the way up. And when the Torah comes past you, then you'll step back. And when it's away, we can go back to our seats. You might want to hold it out like this, but wait for the Torah to come and go ahead. Torah wrapped around the stage, in fact, envelops us with wholeness, with holiness, with the possibility that the brokenness we sometimes feel can be repaired. Whenever we gather together, particularly whenever Torah is out, we ask for God's blessing of healing upon us and our loved ones. Some of us here are struggling with physical illness, some with mental illness, some dealing with spiritual struggle or emotional turmoil, mental illness. Some of us have loved ones facing the same. As I bring my hand around the room, I invite you to mention the names aloud of those for whom you're asking for blessings of healing. Tonight, we ask for blessings of healing for
military.
For all of them and all of us, we sing this blessing of healing.
Who bless the one
חיים היא למחזיקים בו ותומיה מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם.
We remain standing for another 25 minutes. Please be seated. So, we're all here and there's some information we'd like to share with you, so bear with me. Yeah. Hit it. The High Holy Days continue. Join us. Sukkot for all ages, and 4 on the right, just for adults. Go ahead. We want to thank, you can clap on this one after I read all the names. We want to thank our Orami Chorale and our conductor, Betty Ross Bloomer. Our chorale, Rich Abrams, Linda Blumenthal, Cheryl Bronstein, Toby Kaplan-Stonefield, Jill Citron, Fariba Cooper, Debbie Cutter, Pam Dine, Susan Frankel, Steve Greenberg, Steve Goldberg, Donna Hennes, Carol Lieberstein, Daryl Lieberstein, Lawrence Linick, Alyssa Linick, Ken Meyer, Ken Newson, Kevin Palm, Scott Pucker, Kathy Rutkin, Tolly Sands, and Deborah Tobias. True Colors, performed by the Jewish Women's Theater of LA. If you missed Rabbi Kipnis's Rosh Hashanah sermon, and especially if you saw it, you will definitely want to come see the performance of True Colors. Humorous, revealing, and inspiring stories from Jews of color, exploring identity, community, and what it means to be a Jew in modern times. Seating is almost filled. Literally, it's almost filled. And so RSVP today. However, it is presented at no cost in loving memory of Penny Spark by her beloved Kurt Gorlick. You don't want to miss it. You can clap after I get through all of these. Thanks also to our instrumentalists. You want to do this, Cantor?
Absolutely. On piano, Aaron Meyer, 16th or 17th year of doing this. Oboe, Fred Bierstein. He played oboe at my wedding 43 years ago. Cello, John Fair. He's been playing for 20, 25 years. I don't know how long. Lauren Deutsch, also her sister, Lindsay, played
years ago, but she's amazing. She played better.
She played for the last 3-4 years.
People who are laughing is I mixed it up when she was playing one of the violins of Hope.
But we have Lauren back. She's the older sister.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Not that her other
on
sister.
Flute, just in a few minutes for Yisker, Toby Kaplan-Stonefield. Bass at Neela, Daryl Lieberstein. And our incredible soloists. These are all, with the exception of Cheryl Bronstein, these are all our teens. Abby Adele, Cheryl Bronstein, Cassidy Benulo, Stacy Citron, Bella Eccles, Joshua Friedman, Anna Hiskey, and Rachel Sands. And at Family Services last week and in just a couple hours, helping out is Cassidy Benulo and Anna Hiskey, Rachel Sands, Jacqueline Wu, and our Madriche Shirah song leaders led by Andrew Fromer.
Beautiful. We can
care for them. Incredible musicians.
You take this one.
I get to do this one also. This is great. Our Orami 1, our party of the year, moves to the Skirball Cultural Center. Very nice. For an amazing night of celebration. Live music, delicious food, great fun. This year's honorees are, dun, 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 I have no, whoa. Rabbi Paul and his wife,
Who,
Michelle. Me? Yes. I'm gonna go. For some of you, tickets, I'm overwhelmed. For some of you, tickets come with your partnership level. For others, you may purchase them and come to the party of the year. Don't wait, because it's, Rabbi Paul's a very popular guy, and so is his wife. And it will sell out, and everyone's looking forward to celebrating with you, Rabbi.
And Michelle.
And Michelle.
She's even more impressive
Yeah.
than I am. Wait, I just have to check the liner notes. On the announcements, don't vamp too much. Just read them through, said
I
Cantor
apologize.
Doug to
Yeah,
Rabbi
yeah,
Paul.
see,
And
I
he
was
keeps going.
vamping.
Okay.
That was me. I'm
Hit
sorry.
it. I don't know what's next. Oh. Every year in November, Congregation Orami holds Mitzvah Day. We collect thousands of donated items and fill hundreds of bags for comfort for children who are entering emergency foster care. Social workers have shared that these bags truly give the kids a sense of hope as they transition from one home to another, often with only the clothes on their back. The bags are filled with everything from toiletries to games to school supplies. We look to you to donate these items. We need 10,000 of them, and help us assembly them on November 17th. As it said, you'll get a flyer on the way out. Donation boxes will be in the temple lobby. Keep your eye out for emails and Facebook posts indicating what items we continue to need, and be part of that wonderful day at Congregation Orami. Next. Violins of Hope. Last night, Lauren was playing a Violin of Hope. The story is great. Watch the live stream last night to find out more. But Violins of Hope, to mark the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau and to honor the 6 million Jewish victims of the Holocaust, Orami showcases Violins of Hope as Jewish music and culture from before and during the Shoah, the Holocaust, come alive in our own sanctuary. A narrated concert for adults and teens is on Tuesday, October 29th. A youth program happens the following day. It's made possible at no cost, primarily through the support of the Rosenbluth Family Charitable Foundation with some help from the Caring Community Foundation. Please RSVP for the adult program at orami.org/RSVP. So many people to thank. We want to thank all of our shofar sounders, Brad Cohen, Caden Farbenblum, Jennifer Morale, Mark Lieb, Al Schwartz, and David Weiss. I want to thank our Orami officers and board and committee chairs led by President Leslie Kraut. We want to thank our High Holiday Committee chaired by Peter Kraut and his committee, and especially Karen Povsky, our site manager for the Family Services Ne'ilah back at Orami. We thank the crew here at Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza. It has a new name now, but they've transformed just the same this theater into a Makom Kadosh. Thank you. Thank you to our photographers, Michael Kaplan, Gray Becker, and Murray November, and technologists Ben Ginsberg and Eric Colonna. If you have some time in the next week, send an email or stop by and thank our office staff, Susie Stark, my assistant and our office manager, Rabbi Jenny Mazzella, Rabbi Weiss's assistant and our school registrar, and Lizette Tui, our our bookkeeper, and Andrew Fromer, our logistics coordinator and communications manager, and Madrche Shira leader, and our logistics coordinator, Stephanie Nunez, our interns. All of them have worked tirelessly behind the scenes so that we all can wake up about 4 days before Rosh Hashanah and say, oh yeah, I got to get my tickets. And they make it there for you, and hopefully wonderfully. So we thank them all. We also want to thank 3 people who were critical to making this happen. Thank you to my wife, Michelle, to Cantor Kotler's wife, Gail, and to Rabbi Weiss's husband, David, and all our families for enduring the challenging weeks prior to the High Holy Days as we prepare and usually disappear. And thanks to my partners, our Rabbi Julia Weiss, here you are, Rabbi Julia Weiss, who has been leading our incredible youth program and spoke so beautifully on Erev Rosh Hashanah and is a strategic thinker par excellence. And our master of music, my lover of liturgy, Cantor Doug Kotler.
I just want to know if Rabbi Joey is here, who's watching all the kids? The 23 teenagers, that's it. And there are adults there as well.
Hit it. Yom Kippur services continue. So a food pantry, bring back your bag if you haven't already. If you don't have it back by Ne'ilah, skip the bag. I'll take a brisket sandwich. Today's scheduled 12:15 Yizkor services will start in just a moment. Then we're back at Orami for family services in Ne'ilah. Stay, hear the closing shofar. We're going to pray for the Dodgers to win. That's a stretch for me, but we're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't mean to get political there, sorry. Welcome to our guests. Become part of the Orami community. You may use your immediate family tickets to pay partnership fees. New partnership levels put affiliation in everybody's reach. Call the Orami office. Be safe when you get out of here. Join us. Hear the final blast of the shofar. And finally, you've seen this before, but really, so many people along immediately. Do an email. We share it all around. Let the staff know what's happening. If you have a kvetch, that's good too. Hold on to it for 3 days. Really think about it. And if it's really important, then communicate it with kindness, nestled between 2, like an Oreo sandwich cookie, you know, the chocolate and the sweet. And then between praise. Yes.
Well, services are still in progress. Those of you that are leaving, do so quietly. And there are people out in the foyer who are wanting to come in for Yizkor now.
Our services continue. We remain quiet, and we take our moments either to stay or to step out.
close in December. Seven and you play right there. Oh, there's a... You're on? I don't think that's in the right place. It should be on this side.
I can't do it.
Yeah, it is. It's picking me up.
You know, it's wireless.
Good afternoon. I am Rabbi Julia Weiss, and with Cantor Doug Kotler, we welcome all of you, those here in the sanctuary, and those worshiping with us via live stream to our Yisker Memorial Service. We hope that our time together will provide comfort, memory, and community. I now ask that you please turn your cell phone off. Please check to make sure that your cell phones are off. Cantor Doug and I recognize Rabbi Paul Kipnis, not present on the bima with his clergy partners this afternoon, but present in this sanctuary space. He is here as Paul, a son who mourns the recent death of his father, and supporting his wife Michelle, also a mourner who mourns the recent death of her mother. During our Yisker service today, we will place the scrolls of memory on either side of the bima, the stage, where they will be placed in the ark. So I ask that you find a moment now to place them in the basket if you have yet to do so. We turn to page 177. We've come for Yisker to remember, to recall as individuals those whose lives were intertwined with ours in a personal bond, and to remember as a community those whose lives were ended because they were Jews. We as individuals and as Jews neither live nor die in isolation. We are part of a Jewish community. We are members of the Jewish people. Before we mourn our personal losses, we turn to the encompassing losses suffered by our people. Every age has its martyrs, teachers, students, simple men and women whose faith gives strength to the weak and hope to the despairing. They live in us and in all the generations to come. They form a golden chain in history. The destruction of 6 million of our people is not only a human tragedy, it is also a divine tragedy. The faith we had in humanity, the trust we had for the future, our confidence in culture and civilization, all these were also destroyed during the Shoah. And abandoned fields, their ashes commingled at Auschwitz and Buchenwald, Bergen-Belsen and Babi Yar, at Treblinka and Terezin. Yet they must not be forgotten. We shall remember them in their pain and their agony. We shall remember them as our own. We remember them because the world would like to forget them, to forget how they cried for help and the nations overlooked them, how they tried to escape and the nations excluded them, how they died in the camps and the nations ignored them. And not just the victims of the Shoah. In every generation, Jews have died al Kiddush Hashem, for the sanctification of your holy name, just because they were Jews, just because they believed in you. What can we say? What can we do? How bear the unbearable or accept what life has brought to our people? All who are born must die, but how shall we compare the slow passage of our days with the callous slaughter of the innocent, cut off before their time? They lived with faith, not all, but many, and surely many died with faith. Faith in God, in life, in the goodness that even flames cannot destroy. May we find a way to the strength of that faith, that sure sense that life and soul endure beyond this body's death. They have left their lives to us. Let a million prayers rise whenever Jews worship. Let a million candles glow against the darkness of these unfinished lives. We pray, O source of life, that your Torah, to which these, your children, have borne witness in life and in death, sheds a renewed light in the hearts of all people, that all of them, nameless to us but known to you, shall not have suffered in vain. The bottom of page 178. We mourn for the suffering and the loss of our people, even as we now turn our thoughts to those members of our own family and our congregational family whose loss is our loss. O God, this hour revives in us memories of loved ones who are no more. What happiness we shared when they walked among us. What joy when loving and loved, we lived our lives together. Their memory is a blessing forever. Months or years may have passed, yet we feel near to them. Our hearts yearn for them. Though the bitter grief has softened, duller pain abides, for the place where once they stood is empty now, forever. The links of life are broken, but the links of love and longing remain forever. Their souls are bound up with ours forever. We see them now with the eye of memory, their faults forgiven, their virtues grown larger. So does goodness live and weakness fade from sight. We remember them with gratitude and bless their names. It's a blessing forever. As we reflect upon those whose memory moves us this day, we seek consolation. We pray for the strength and the insight born of faith. Page 180. At the bottom. To the living, death is a wound. Its name is grief. Its companion is loneliness. Whenever it comes, whatever its guise, even when there are no tears, death is a wound. It is not our purpose to live forever. It's only our purpose to live.
I lift my voice when all is dark into God's hands. I place my heart. I'm not afraid. Adonai li. I lift my eyes when all is night, when I need help. I seek God's light. Lo echsar Adonai rohi. I'm not afraid. Adonai li.
page 182. Please pray with me in the English at the bottom. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. You make me lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside the still waters. You restore my soul. You lead me in straight paths for your name's sake. Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Eternal forever. Our generations are bound to one another when children remember their parents. Love becomes stronger than death when husbands and wives remember their mates, when parents remember their children. Memory conquers death's dominion when we remember our brothers, sisters, and grandparents, other relatives and friends. The deaths of those we now remember left gaping holes in our hearts, but we are grateful for the gift of their lives. We are strengthened by the blessings which they bequeath to us and by the memories that still comfort and sustain us as we remember them. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of the air, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. On holy days and on yard sites, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. At the bottom of page 184. The process of dying is painful, especially if it is prolonged, but death itself is a transition, a transfer from here to there, a recycling of the body and soul. Matter is never destroyed, only transformed. So too does the soul evolve higher and higher, from instinct to inspiration, from haughtiness to holiness, from selfishness to service, from individualism to union, until it returns home to the soul of souls, the Ein Sof, the infinite one. Thus is the divine source of life, magnified and sanctified.
In the garden there's a tree planted by someone who only imagined me. What love, what vision. I marvel at the gift. No fruit could be sweeter than this. The ones who came for me. As my people went from land to land, something passed from hand to hand. And it isn't just the words and stories of the ancient laws, golden glories. It's the way we study, the book we study. It's the way we study, the way I Today my life is full of choice. Because a young man raised his voice. Because a young girl took a chance. I am freedom's inheritance. Years ago they crossed the sea, and they made a life that's come to me. I'm standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before me. I'm standing on the shoulders So in the garden I'll plant a seed, a tree of life for you to read. The fruit will ripen in the sun. The words will sound when I am gone. These are the things I pass along: the fruit, the book, and the song. Standing on the shoulders, the ones who came before me. I'm standing on the shoulders, the ones who came before me. I'm standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before me.
I'd like us to take a few moments to be truly in the presence of someone dear to us who we remember at this hour. This guided meditation is an amazing opportunity to remember the love and warmth of a loved one we are missing, a chance to revisit the times when they sat alongside us at holidays gone by. However, it will only work if you're willing to enter into it without inhibition, to be truly present in the vision you create. In a moment, I will ask you to think about a deceased loved one you are missing that you wish you could spend a little bit more time with. A warning, however, if you have unresolved issues with this loved one that are painful, this might not be the right setting in which to deal with them. You might wish to focus on another deceased loved one, or you might not wish to participate at all. So take a moment, sit comfortably in your seat, with your feet on the floor if you are able, backs against the backrests and hands comfortably on your lap. Close your eyes and concentrate on breathing slowly. Still your body and your mind. Imagine with your mind's eye that you are in a room, a familiar room. It is warm and comfortable. The furniture is well known to you, and you know exactly how the chair or the sofa you sit on feels. As you make yourself comfortable in that room, you look up, and in through the door walks your loved one who sits down beside you. You look into your loved one's eyes, see the familiar eye color, feel the warmth of their smile. You reach out and take their hand in yours. And now, you say to your loved one what is in your heart. In a moment, it will be time for your loved one to leave, and we will return to our service. Your loved one rises, and you embrace. You say goodbye. Your loved one is now turning and leaving the room. As we now journey on into Yiskor, we take these memories, this loved one, all our loved ones with us. Slowly now, come back from that room to this room, from that reality to this one.
You who gather here, crying silent tears, because you cannot talk to me. You can remember I am here though I am gone, dust to dust, life goes on. Think of me, I will become a rose in December. If you remember, I'll be a rose. If you remember, I'll be a rose that blooms in December. In your thoughts and in your sight, I am eternal light. Hold the torch against the night, and you will remember. In the flame are many sparks, touching lives beyond the dark. By my deeds I've left my mark, a rose in December. If you remember, I'll be a rose. If you remember, I'll be a rose, rose that blooms in December. So say the words that must be said, prayer for beloved dead. And as our precious tears are shed, we shall remember death and loss are what we pay, finding love along the way, gift forever, sweet bouquet, a rose in December. If you remember, I'll be a rose. If you remember,
We turn to the bottom of page 186. Please rise. O God, full of compassion, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest under the wings of your Shekhinah to our loved ones who have entered eternity. Master of mercy, wrap them in your holy presence, and may their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life. The eternal God is their inheritance. May they rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A thing for fools this, yet kadosh, a holy thing to love. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to say Kaddish, to love what death has touched.
El Molerachami Shochen Vamaromi Hametze Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanafei Ashchina Im kedoshim utorim Kzoar ki hamasirim Lenishmot yakireinu shalachu leolamah Ba'al Rachamim Yastirem Beseter Knafav L'Olamim Veyitzror Bitzror Hachayim Et Nishmatam Adonai נחלתם וינוחו בשלום על משכבם ונאמר
We pray Mourner's Kaddish, page 187. Yit Gadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei almaya, Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da miran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may take your seats. Some announcements? Is there a scroll? No. Okay, the announcements. Family services at Congregation Orami at 3:15 following this, and Ne'ilah is 5:30 at Congregation Orami Hopefully you will join us to hear the final shofar blast.